Have you ever felt an overwhelming sense of dread or anxiety on Sunday night, just thinking about the fact that you have to go back to work on Monday? You're not alone. According to a 2023 LinkedIn survey, nearly 75% of US workers have experienced this, and it's called the Sunday Scaries. It's when the thought of going into work the next day is so bad that it impacts your weekends. Today, we're going to talk about 5 things that you can do if you are in a job that you don't like or even hate that will make it more bearable. Hi, I'm Laura, and I'm here to take your job search from stressful to successful. Now, on this channel, I talk a lot about how to find a job, but I recognize that while you're looking for a job, you might be working in a position that you just don't like. I know I've experienced it. I had this position one time that I would just sit in my car before I had to go into the office and I would just cry. I hated it so much. In that position, I was the person who had to deal with all of the employee issues. I was the Grim Reaper where I had to do the terminations, the performance improvement plans. It was crushing. I could not stand it, but I needed the job because, well, I needed a paycheck. They had good benefits. I had to do it, but I also needed to make it so it didn't completely ruin my life. And there are 5 things that I did, which if you implement, will get you through until you do find a position that is fulfilling for you. Number 1 is to have countdowns. And notice I said countdowns, not like one big countdown till your last day. Of course, you have your last day on your calendar. That's something big too. But I'm talking about countdowns that you can look forward to on a regular basis. Now, here's what I did. I had one of those really big desk calendars that you lay out, and I would go through, and if I had a vacation, I would, of course, add that to the calendar, but I would do something daily. If it was, oh, the Bachelor finale is tonight, because yes, back in the day, I was a Bachelor and Bachelorette fan, and I was like, oh, the finale's tonight. I would write that down. Or if I was going to have dinner with a friend, I'd write that down. Or even if I was going to go home and finish a book that I really enjoyed, I'd, well, write that down. And that is because even if it was something small, if I had something to look forward to, it just made that day more bearable. So I want you to think of things that you can count down to, things that will light you up in some way. Like I said, they could be big, they could be small. Oh, and I always circled payday in a bright red marker because yes, that's what I was there for. So those were very apparent because I was like, okay, this is what I'm working for. To find your countdowns and write them out. And I do suggest that you have it on something visible because if you put it on your phone, then that means you have to grab your phone and open it up and look at it. But if you're at your desk and you can just look down and you can see it, it just psychologically, well, at least for me, it helped me get through. And number 2 is to find ways to earn money. Now, I am not saying that you need to have a second job, but I do think it's beneficial to diversify your income streams. Because when you are working in a job you don't like, you're most likely working in it because, well, you need a paycheck, but you're also wholly reliant on that employer to provide you that paycheck. And then you feel more trapped. Like, I have to stay here because I don't have any other way to make money. So start now of finding even those little ways to make money. And here are some ideas that I've personally done. 1 is I did freelance writing. 2 is I sold things on eBay. And another one is I actually had a really fun job, which was being a hostess for a dating service. And I only worked a couple hours a week, but it brought in a few $100 extra per month. And when you have a couple ways that you can earn money on the side, 1 is it, well, brings in more money, which is great because you can pay off your debt faster. You can create a fund that you can eventually have a bigger cushion for when you do ultimately leave. But also it just shows you that there are other ways to make money and you never know. One of those little side projects could take off and be something that replaces your full-time income. So don't limit yourself and only think that you can only make money through your full-time job. And if you are looking for more ideas, I actually do have a video up here about it. And number 3 is to always have some type of physical outlet. Now, when I was in that horrible job, I gained weight. I gained like 30 pounds because I let the mental and the emotional toll of my job impact my time outside of my job. And it was a few years in, and I was like, okay, not only am I not happy at work, but now I just feel crappy outside of work. And then I joined a gym, and that just changed everything for me. Having that 1 hour Monday through Friday where I could just let it out made such a difference. When I would go through my day, because I went at the end of my workday, when I had that hour at the end of the day to just let out all of the frustration, all of the built up, just like, ugh, it felt good. I ran faster to get out aggression. I lifted more. But having that time between I'm at work, I'm letting out all that aggression, and now I'm going about my life, it was a game changer. So find whatever physical outlet that is for you. And if you're like, yeah, but I don't have time before work or after work, then at lunch, just go for a walk or do something, because doing something physical really will make a big difference. And speaking about making a difference, I do have a free 5-day job search jumpstart series, which is sure to take your job search to the next level, and it's linked below. And number 4 is to be grateful. I want you to find something that you are grateful for each and every day because of your job. Now I'm talking small. Like for me, I love the fact that my company had a fully stocked kitchen, so I didn't have to spend money on lunch. And that was a bigger thing than it seems on the surface, because every day I didn't have to pack lunch or buy lunch. I could put that money towards my debt, my school loans. And then once those were paid off, I could actually start making progress to give myself that cushion, which would eventually allow me to leave that position. And so whatever that is for you, I want you to write those down. And I want you to say, okay, yes, there are things to be grateful for. Maybe for you, it's a coworker that you really enjoy. Whatever it is, find at least one thing to be grateful for each day. And number 5 is to figure out your next step. Rather than look at your time in this job as what it is for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, I want you to look at it strictly as a stepping stone. But when you look at it as a stepping stone, your job is now to figure out what your next step is. But don't get stuck in just the thinking process. I want you to take actionable steps to help you figure out what it is that you are going to do next. Because yes, you will move on, you will move up. And one day, this job that you hate will be in the rear view mirror. But you do have to take steps now so you can get to where you want to go. And if you are looking for a video on how to figure out what you want to do next in your career, make sure to check out my video here.